to PS5 console Anno 1800. So it is now 45 hours 26 minutes. We have a score of 18,672, which is fabulous, I guess. Don't know how it compares. I must go back and look at my original score um, on the um, on the beginning level and see what that was to see if I fared better or worse. I suspect worse because I have less islands that are doing so well. On the original game in the New World, I had an awful lot of islands, and I had quite a military force, which I don't currently have. So here we are. So let's just do a quick check of exactly what's going on, which is probably not a whole heck of a lot different from what you saw last time. Although there will be some changes. So this is Remedy. Remedy is going good. Balanced out the schnapps related side of things. Everything else is good. Bread is good. I know it says down, but it's up and down, but it's fine. Beer through the roof. Um, doing all right with everything else. Doing all right with everything else. Doing all right with everything else. They seem to be getting paid in luxury goods. So he has 269 champagne, not because he's making it, but because somehow they're trading him luxury goods instead of cash or something. I don't know. It seems to be the way it goes. Uh, let's not have a look at Hamburg. This is St. Arthurburg. Now, you will see, as I said, that I devoted this entirely over to vineyards, and I have done so, and we're rammed. We're absolutely rammed, which is great. So there we are, 500. So we're absolutely full, and all of the grapes are going over to Hamburg, where they're being processed into wine. And I didn't need to do an awful lot with the island to achieve that. So I didn't need to spend an awful lot of money. I don't need to be spending an awful lot of money, and I don't really need to fill it up with people and start worrying about new supply chains and everything else because it's just going to soak up my time, and I don't have time. This is Hanbareng right now. So we have the monument which is being built, and I fully expect it to be finished very, very shortly, 45 seconds away. Um, Jeepers, what an awful lot of stuff that had to be done. Um, I've had to promote a heck of a lot of people up to investors. I needed 5,000 investors and 2,000 engineers. So we're well above our target, which was 2,500 investors. So there's no point in setting a victory condition as 2,500 investors if you're going to say you need a monument, because you need 5,000 investors to do this monument, which is the World's Fair. I've still not found any other way to select any other monument. It just says World's Fair, limit one per island. So I've not found any other monuments. I found banks and things. That's not a monument. So I don't know. Like I said, we'll wait and see, and we'll have a quick look. But anyway, and I had to promote a whole load of people, and then I needed to build. Well, I didn't need to, but I built another members club, and these guys wanted a theater, and it's just And then trying to build the goods, trying to get the supply chains for this. It's a stress test, right? That's what this is. The monument, like a lot of these games, it's an end game item. It's a stress test. Getting it built stresses your system to breaking point. So you have to go through that breakage and how you manage the fact that it's falling apart. It stopped again. Um, it stopped again. It's gone back to needing a minute because of light bulbs. Just trying to get it supplied with light bulbs is crazy. So it's a stress test. So you go through all of this and then all the rest of it. So we've had to increase population um, beyond what what you can comfortably supply, to push you to do things. What I've been doing is trading. So I've been trading my way out of it. So I've got lots and lots of trade routes, and I keep trading with Archer and von Mulching. So let's see, and His Highness at High Court, or Her Highness through what's his name. So that's pearls I'm getting from von Mulching's island in the New World. That is High Clarence Hall. There's no other regular ones. Basically, I go and get what I need to get from them when I need to get it. And I've been gradually working. So there's not a lot that they have anymore that I need. To be fair, I mean, if we go and have a look, it's like that's all, maybe cigars, maybe spectacles, maybe the carriages. Nothing. 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 Uh, Maybe cigars. So that's it. Oh, it's finished. Look, there you go. So that's it. That's the game officially won. Let's see. Phase 5. The World's Fair. There you go. Access the World's Fair.
Going down to the country soon. Spot a shooting, then back to the razzle-dazzle.
I see. We could do. So what would we want to do? Science, archaeology, and ethnography. I reckon we would go with science and innovation.
We need to invest now.
Do we? I see. Oh, and we could I can't select anything because I'm short of investors. Oh, 10,000 investors. 3 epic machines and inventions. 5,000 investors, 3 rare and uncommon machines, 7,500 investors, 3 rare and epic machines. Wow! Now there's some conditions that you could really put in as part of your game and say actually getting the World's Fair going is not only where you're at, you need more. Um, which would be fine if we could ever sort these people out. Let's just have a look, because can you then go to this island and choose to build a different monument? It's 1 per island, it says. 1 per island. Yeah. Oh, right, I see. So there's not different monuments, it's just world fairs. So when it says, build more than 1 monument, the idea is that you build a world. Wow, building more than 1 World's Fair, I wouldn't even know how many hours you would need to put into the game to do that. Um, and look, I suppose that at the end of the day, um, thanks, dog. At the end of the day, 45 hours. I mean, it seems like a lot, but when you think about it, I've just finished Hogwarts Legacy, and I didn't even finish it. I mean, to the extent that I'm not a completionist, so I didn't do 100%. I mucked around and I fiddled about, and I was doing it on the casual, so I was just kind of, doing a bit of this, and doing a bit of that, and that was like about 55 hours. So that was 10 hours more. So that's 25% more than this. Um, but what I would say, I think, with this is it gets to be a bit of a slog after a bit. Now let's carry on looking at my situation a minute, because I don't want to talk about something. So we go to the new world, and here we are at the new world. So this is Coracatapumbo, and I mean generally doing okay, but we haven't fulfilled their needs. So we haven't fulfilled their needs because
I always believed.
we've really struggled with these things globally. Trying to get sewing machines sorted globally is hard work. Beer, not so bad. Everything else managed to sort out, but sewing machines, I just what? So anyway, so it's doing fine, and that's all good. And Cruisometer. Oh, sorry, not Cruisometer, Unterstat. So I did.
Pull up your braces and thrust into the unknown.
Okay. Um, the I bought this island because this was the island with the Quatawak, Quachachuk, and that's all I did. That's all I did was make these um,
What can I do for you?
caoutchouc plantations, only to supply hammering with caoutchouc, and it's full. This only holds 150. So yeah, so I did the same thing. So basically, as I did for the vineyard island, I set up enough of a population to supply this with enough stuff to keep us busy, and that was that. And von Malching was a real sport about it, and he wasn't really bothered. And these guys, as you can see, pretty full, pretty full, pretty full, pretty full. They're again, all of their filling up, filling up, filling up, because they're just happy producing away and producing away and producing away. So I took three. So I've got 3 islands. Von Malching's got 2. Archer's will not include the small periphery islands. We'll just include the large ones. Von Malching's got 2. Archer's got 3. I think in terms of shares in this area, I've got 2 in the middle, as you recall. I think I bought those way back. I haven't added anything, and I haven't bought any other shares because I've been focusing on shares in the old world. In the old world, I mean, I bought all his shares because that's why I'm making 118,000, because I bought all his shares, and I'm well on the way to getting all of his. I mean, I could probably buy another one right now if it let me. There you go.
What? Not
Not
even
even
I
now
can
you
afford.
can afford one of your pieces. Yes, quite. So I mean, the reason that I'm making so much money is just because I keep buying the really expensive shares in their really expensive islands. And once I had those shares and that I could keep buying them and they couldn't keep buying them back, and I would have to say they've really struggled to buy back. I think they've reached the limits of their economy and I've outlasted them to a certain extent because of that. So I think it's just one of those things. I think I've broke the back of the opponents from an economic perspective. Um, Although it shows in the diplomacy that um, I've only got a 47 economy, that might be so, but I own chunkier islands, and him, yeah, that's fine. He's 51. That's jolly good. But I effectively own one of his most expensive islands. I'm not going to take it over, because I don't really want to. It's better for me not to, because if
The
I don't
people
take it over,
celebrate your
if I take it
leadership.
over, it's just empty. But if I don't take it over, I'm making loads and loads of money. So I suppose it depends on how you want to look at a victory. Um, it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory if you're going to take over the island and lose all that income. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? If I buy this island, and I can, well, not buy it, I've already bought it. If I take it over, I lose
I'll show
85.
you some perspective.
No, that's alright, I'll pay
Well
you.
thought out.
Um, I don't care. It's 70,000. I've got 10 million. I've had way more than that. I just keep spending it. Um, Yeah, I mean, why would I do that? I mean, I could effectively just go around and buy all the islands slowly over time, and and there we go. You've kind of like, you guys all owe me everything. You're kind of like my vassals, as it were, because I'm making so much money. At the minute, I'm making 157,000. It's just absolute lunacy. This looks nice, doesn't it? It's very pretty. It's very well detailed. I like the way they've got the reflections off the glass and things. Sweep it up, mate. Sweep it up. Flowers or cockles? Cockles and mussels alive, alive. Yeah, it's very nice, isn't it? It's very nice, very nice. I wish it had a better promenade, as it were. I mean, it just looks onto these row of investors' houses, and I'm sure the investors are very happy about it, as it happens. But there you go. Yeah. So anyway, I digress. What were our victory conditions? Do you remember? I do, because I wrote them down. It is to have one monument. Tick. We have one monument. To have at least 2,500 investors. Oh yeah,
We can move on
brother.
it.
We have how many do we have? Where are you? We have 4,859. We did have more than 5,000 at one point. It's because they're not happy. It's because of the lack of bicycles and coffee. So we've dropped a little bit, but we did have 5,000, which is still well above 2,500. Population of more than 10,000. Yep, we're nearly at 30,000. 500,000 wealth. Pfft, get out of it. 10,000 revenue, or 150, and we're not worried about diplomacy. So there you go. So that's it. And we finished it 3 hours faster on this more difficult mode than we did on the beginning mode, and I think that's because we didn't have to contend with the war. I think the war with Beryl really slowed us down a little bit the first time around, and we haven't had to contend with war. We've taken a completely diplomatic perspective, pardon me, on this, and approached it from the sake of saying, well, we're not going to get into a fight. And as I've said before with the island thing, if I pick the right thing, they don't. I mean, he took this whole side, and there was another player here, as you recall, and he was at war with von Malching, and I think it was only because von Malching was relatively strong at that point in the game that it kind of put him at a halt. But if he had come this way, I would have been toast. There's just no two ways about it. I would have been toast. And the same over here. I mean, I had two little islands. There was barely anything on them, you know. And he had all these. Well, he had these two here, and he got that one from Bentley Jorgensen. Van Malching was a little bit quicker, but I mean, he picked up these small islands, but they don't really make you a lot. But he picked up these two. Unterstadt. Should we have a look at Unterstadt? Because I tell you what I noticed when I went to Unterstadt. Look at how much flipping oil there is. Look at this. Oil springs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13 in the top corner it says. I mean, I just, it's like 13. I mean, that must have really killed him when I took this island off him, and he didn't do anything about it. This one, 7. Okay. And this one, 11. I mean, he really went out of his way for the old oil. He's not even using it. He's not even using oil springs here. He's got a whole raft of oil springs he's not even using. What turkey, eh? What a turkey. I don't know how the AI does what it does. I mean, they just leave huge gaps everywhere. I mean, fill it up. I mean, at least he's using his oil springs. I suppose that's one thing. Yes, 17! 17! He's not using them all up. Who could? 17? Blimey, O'Reilly. I must have been doing something wrong. 11. 18! This is just absolute nonsense. 18 oil springs. That's just crazy. The whole thing's just don't let him match anywhere, will you? He's not using half of them. There's at least 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just a whole load of. He's not using those either. How on earth is the computer playing this game? How on earth is the computer even staying afloat? Well, I got 9. I got 9. That's it. I floated this entire game with 9. 9. And he has like 18, 17, and 11. It's just absolute craziness. Absolute craziness. What is going on with this game? Anyway, let's ad infinitum. That's his capital. Anyway, like I've said, the AI isn't exactly. I mean, how is he supplying all these people with all the stuff that he's that? Where is he getting it from? Where is all of his needs being met from with all of these people here? These are expensive big buildings, and there's nothing here. He's not growing anything on this island, anything at all. He's making maybe a
The
couple of
whole
things.
form of it built.
He's making some sewing machines. Um, what is that? He's got some tiny little houses buried in amongst his investors. Um, he's not even mining his coal. It just, yeah. I see things like that and I get worried about exactly what's happening with the game. And I go, hang on a minute. Am I the only one that faces these conditions and they don't? Is it a level playing field or a very unlevel playing field in terms of what's going on out there? So, in terms of diplomacy, I mean, he's not happy with me at the minute, which is why he was threatening me to revoke my trade rights. Um, he's not happy with me at all because I don't even
My
think.
art is criminally underfunded. I should say thanks.
Yeah, and I can always butter him up. It's back up to 68 again. Um, and Von Malching, for some reason, he just keeps coming for me with non-aggression packs. For some reason, I don't know. He sees me as a threat or something. I mean, I suppose that said, he's only got 2 islands. I've got 3. So, I mean, technically speaking, I am a threat to him because I've sort of overtaken him a little bit. Um, if you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, so I've kind of, Van Malching would be the next person on my list if I was doing this. So, if I were to go forward, and I am not suggesting I am, because the critical thing here for me is the time sink. It's I'm too busy. The short answer is I'm too busy. I have other things on. I can't spend that's 5 hours today. I can't spend 5 hours on a day doing this kind of stuff every day. I just don't have the time. And it still takes 5 hours. It just ekes it out longer. So you're doing like 2 hours a day, but you're doing it over the course of 3 days instead of one day, and it just takes even longer. It's a week to get anywhere, and it's not fantastic viewing for you guys. It doesn't look good on the channel, and in terms of a pastime that I would do like by myself, it's not. There's bits of the game that are missing for me. Doesn't quite tick all the boxes in terms of the strategy or the balance or the productivity, and it's quite moderately stressful. I think as a game, it's got quite a lot of moderate stress to it, because like I've said, up until like a certain level, you're always kind of like um, fighting uphill, and one little thing will sink everything. So I would say that I only managed to stabilize the game in the last sort of 20 hours, maybe, let's say. I'd need to go back and double check on that, but I think from about 35 hours onwards, um, that's only 10 hours. 25 hours? No, maybe not. No, 10 hours ago. No, somewhere between 10 and 15 hours, I think, ago. I think after like 30 hours, things started to get a little bit stable, and then after like 36 hours, it was like easy sailing. It's just a lot of time. and you have to just do so much. You're just continually looking at trade routes and promotional things and everything else, and going, these guys are, they're running out of coffee, and they're running out of this, and they're running out of that, and they're running out of the other. Anyway, I digress again. What I was going to say was, if I were to go further from here, this is what happens when you've been playing this game for 5 hours. Your brain turns to custard. Um, what I would do is I would probably downgrade quite a few of the people here, because I can't get to 10. This thing here.
Where are the best margins?
We're still on 4,500. We were at 4,008, so we're dropping again, and we're really struggling. So I would say and we're continuing to go down.
The people celebrate
So
your leadership.
I would say there would be an awful lot of rebalancing I would have to do, and I'd have to go back into it, and I'd have to do an awful lot of tweaking. I'd have to take over some more islands. I'd have to rebuild some things. There's arguably, you could say this is only really the start of that process, because to double the amount of investors on this island, because I would need to convert all of these people over, and I can't supply them with things. You can see here that
You're
things
a national
things
treasure.
are falling apart. I don't know why they don't have electricity. Oh, they're on the edge of the electric grid. That's why they don't have electricity, because the elastic trickery doesn't really go that far. Um, so yeah, it would require an awful lot of work, and frankly, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I really don't. I can't devote the time to this game that it needs. Um, it could go on and on and on and on and on and on. And the other thing is, as I've said, I don't actually find it very entertaining. I find it very choresome, and it can get that way with some of these strategy games and these building games, where it stops to be it stops being interesting and challenging and becomes wearisome, because there's so many things to juggle, and there's so many things falling apart all of the time, that it's just tiring to try and manage it all, and it's not fun. There's no fun in this from this point forward. For me, it's just juggling stuff and juggling stuff. I'm not going to be building things. I'm not going to be laying things out. I'm not going to be doing stuff. So, contrary to, like, I don't know, I dread to raise the specter of it, but City Skylines. Part of the thing with City Skylines, which was always very good, was that you could keep kind of tweaking it and prettifying it, and you could make it interesting. You could make little interesting things, and a little interesting that, and a little interesting the other, and you had time to sit back, and things wouldn't go wrong for ages. You could just let it run for a bit, and you could fiddle around. You could do this. There's absolutely no time to spare in Anno 1800. Um, to spend time doing things. Like, they give you the option of prettifying the city, but there's no time to. When does anyone ever get the time to sit down? Even on the slowest setting that it has, something will fall over and suddenly you're in the red, vastly in the red, and you're like, whoa, what's happening? What's going on? Because you spent all your time planting shrubberies. Um, so I'm still back in the situation where I was at the end of the first one, which was, it has an appeal at the beginning. It has lots of interest, lots of challenge. You got to try and build stuff and balance stuff and make all these things work, and it's all very much exciting and interesting, and all the rest of it. But beyond a certain point, it becomes a bit of a chore, and I think that's a bit of a failing in the game. And also, I noted the newspaper. The issue with the newspaper and the fact that the newspaper influence is so massive, I think is also a detriment to the game because it can hide a lot of sins. I think they should have stuck with it being a production balance thing, but then corrected the production balance a little bit better. Um, because then I think it would be a little bit more, it would be a little bit simpler to manage your failings and your production side of things. As it is, you can kind of, once you get past a certain level, you can just kind of stop caring and going, ah, it's just nonsense. And then as you go further and further up, it's like, oh, actually, I now need to go back and I need to do a whole lot other stuff. And I need to start conquering islands and doing other bits and pieces. So maybe this is not the end game of Anno 1800 is what I'm saying. Maybe this is not the end game of Anno 1800. For serious Anno 1800 enthusiasts who really, really love this kind of thing, building the monument is only the start, really, because obviously the end game is that you need to get whatever you're doing, 10,000 investors sorted. And in order to get 10,000 investors sorted, you need to do everything that you need to do to juggle being able to do that. And kudos to you for being able to do that. I guess that is the AAA plus part of the game for those people that are really into it. I'm sorry, I just can't devote the time to be able to get there. So I guess that's it for me. We've reached the victory conditions that I set for myself at the beginning. And we have done that, and I said that that would be it. And I said that I would consider going further, and I've considered it, and I don't want to, just because there's just so much time involved, and that's that's the end of it. There it is. For me, the issue is one of time. I don't have the time to devote to this game. I mean, I don't doubt that I could do it. I could go back and I could rejigger all this and I could do that and I could take over Von Malching's island and he probably wouldn't care and I could build it and I could build the other ones back up again and add another 30 hours worth of time to the game to progress it. But I just don't have 30 hours to progress to this game. So I can't do that. So I guess that's it for this season, for the Sandbox 2 Advanced season. I hope if you are playing Anno 1800 that it gives you an insight into it, and I don't mean to be negative. It obviously it occupied my time for 45 hours, and for the first sort of 35 hours, it was quite interesting, quite exciting. And it's always kind of juggling things and doing things and all the rest of it. I feel like it is missing some elements of perhaps conflict. Maybe if it forced you into conflict earlier, then adding a little bit of conflict might spice it up a little bit. I don't know, but the AI always seems to be the NPCs, as we used to call them back in the old days. The NPCs are definitely I don't know how they're making it all work with how they're all making it work, and I think I said that before in the last one. I got to the stage where some of the NPCs had one island and they had investors on it. I'm like, how on earth can they possibly be doing that? It's just one island. It just doesn't even make any sense that they could buy everything, and where are they getting the money from? So I think it's designed to challenge you. I don't think it's necessarily a fair playing field. But hey, that's it. Go out and have fun and enjoy it. And like I said, you don't have to be a completionist. Because I mean that's what this is kind of is. It's like fulfilling it all to the end is like the 100%. It's like killing every boss, doing everything, getting every collectible, that's the kind of completion side of things, and it's not necessarily me. And obviously they've chosen to allow you to set your victory conditions to enable you to do that. I can't compare because, as we said, I can't compare. It's just this is all I got. So that is all I got. So it ended up being 19,572. It took me 45 hours, 41 minutes, and probably less than that because I've been blathering on for like 20 minutes. And I did it in advance, which is my the multiplier is 1.2. I think it's 1 at the beginner, and it's like 1.5 in the like hardest one. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm not sure. I don't think there'll be a Sandbox 3. I don't think so because I don't know where I'm going to find the time. um, I have a lot of other things on my playlist of things that I would like to do, and some things that are a little bit different that I would like to do. But I'm still glad I did it, and it was still interesting to play, and there's still some interesting stuff. And I think Ubisoft did a not a bad job. You know, it's 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I mean, it's pretty good going. I think they did a good job. There's some things that are missing, some things that could have been balanced a little bit better, or given a little bit more importance, or given a little bit more room to play with. Um, but I mean, you know, it functions and it works and it looks slick. It really does look slick, and I can't believe the level of detail, and I've said this before, you know, the level of nuance and detail even down at this level. You know, that you can zoom all the way out and all the way in, and you get, you know, there's a balloon cellar, there's people wandering around, there's a woman pushing a pram, you know, there's this these little steam powered buggies. You know, it's just it is such a pretty looking thing. You know, and you go down all of these little things, washing on the line, and you know, you've got all these things, people hanging out at the pub, and all of these little, you know, cameo pieces that are all working really well. And there's a guy on his penny farthing tootling down the road. You know, and the piggies. You know, and you see the piggies rolling around in the mud and having fun, and I think you got the sheepies and the lambs and stuff. You know, it really is very pretty, and Ubisoft did a very good job. And you know, the stylization and the level of detail is just marvelous. It is a very good looking game, very good looking game. This scary thing, absolutely crazy. Anyway, that's it. Sandbox 2. Finito Bonito. I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it. But it is time to call it a day. We have set out to achieve a goal, and we've achieved our goals, and it's time to move on. So, do drop a like. Do subscribe. It helps the channel greatly. Do comment. What did you think? It's the end of the series. Now's your time. That was rubbish, LJ. Quitter! Whatever you want, drop it in. Or, you know, why don't you see if you can get to 10,000 or whatever the other issues are. You know, let me know. And, yeah. Oh, the end of this one. See what happens when we go on to my next series, which I have no idea what that's going to be. Anyway, that'll do for Anno 1800 on PS5 console for now. So, do enjoy yourself. Ta-ta.
PlayStation